You're backed by arguably one of the greatest of all time, right?
What are we rating ourselves on? What are we rating on?
Okay.
Well, we're gonna know in the least amount of fights. You know, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that
the greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
When Terence "Bud" Crawford claimed that he would stop Floyd faster than he stopped Errol Spence, the boxing world exploded with reactions, and no one took that statement more personally than Floyd Mayweather himself.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, no.
Within a few hours, Floyd responded on social media. The message looked smooth, calm, and calculated like always, but people close to the situation say he was extremely upset. For the first time in a long while, someone was not just placing their name beside his, but openly claiming they would defeat him and even stop him. Floyd definitely heard Crawford's statement, and his reaction was about more than simple pride. It touched on his legacy, his reputation, and the growing reality that the sport he once controlled could now belong to a new generation. The moment that sparked everything came from a well-known boxing podcast only 2 nights earlier. Terence Crawford had just secured his historic victory over Canelo Alvarez when the host asked a question fighters usually avoid. If you and Floyd were both in your prime, how would that fight play out? Crawford leaned back, smiled, and delivered the comment that instantly set the boxing world on fire. He said he would stop Floyd even easier than he stopped Errol Spence, and added that Floyd is great, but he believes he is greater. That single line exploded across the internet. Within minutes, hashtags like Crawford versus Floyd and GOAT debate were trending across social media worldwide.
Yo, yeah, so if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh, shit, okay, I'm just asking. Floyd was pound for pound before.
That would have been a hard fucking fight, though.
Man, me versus anybody. I'm gonna always say me.
Okay.
Come on now.
What truly surprised people was not only Crawford's confidence, but how believable it sounded. When you look at his career and watch how he broke down Errol Spence and later controlled Canelo Alvarez, it becomes clear that Crawford is not speaking out of ego, but from careful calculation. And Floyd understands that.
Hey, you could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Here is the reality. Since retiring, Floyd Mayweather has worked hard to stay in control of the spotlight. Every exhibition, every interview, and every headline has been aimed at keeping attention on him. But by 2025, that control is starting to fade. While Floyd is stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson in what feels more like a nostalgia event, Crawford is out there creating real history in the sport.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can't knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
He isn't focused on quick money fights. His goal is lasting greatness. And that is exactly what bothers Floyd the most.
And I'm going to get a lot of too. But honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over Mayweather. Because of going up, you didn't see Mayweather go up from 147 to 168. That's crazy, bro. And honestly, I thought Crawford was gonna have more of a hard time because he had a hard time with Madronov. So imagine going up to it. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I don't want to take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather's the greatest of all time. But I think that was a really big risk that Crawford took, and then he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So you have to give credit to that too. I mean, that's a big risk. That'd be like me going up and fighting Usyk right now, heavyweight.
I know that's been kind of hinted.
I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm not thinking of that right now. No, but that's kind of like how that'd be. You know what I mean? So you have to, bro. That's a lot of, he has a lot of balls to do that. And not only to go do that to show the world that he's really liked.
For a long time, critics argued that Floyd's career was shaped by perfect timing, choosing opponents carefully, and selecting fights that brought maximum money with the least danger. In many ways, that assessment was accurate. He was a brilliant businessman inside the sport, but that approach always carried a small question mark. Terence Crawford is moving in the opposite direction. He faces dangerous rivals. When they are at their best, steps up through weight divisions and accepts challenges many believe Floyd avoided. Now he is mentioning Floyd's name not to chase attention, but to prove his own legitimacy.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's.
But the story becomes even more intriguing. Sources connected to Mayweather Promotions say Floyd felt disrespected, not simply because of the statement, but because of the person who made it. Floyd once guided Gervonta Davis, discovering him, mentoring him, and building a system based on loyalty. Crawford followed a completely different route. He never worked under Floyd, never signed with him, and never depended on his structure. He built his own career and rose to stardom on his own path, something very few fighters have managed to achieve.
I beat this guy, it's an excuse, I beat this guy, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to get my full respect until afterwards. Yes, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. We really didn't realize it until now, when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the number 1 guy that's the face of boxing, and the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, so I just think, when you that much better than the competition, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
And that independence is exactly what makes Floyd uneasy. One promoter explained that Floyd sees parts of himself in Bud, but without the same level of influence or control. Crawford is achieving the kind of success Floyd once had, but he is doing it without the politics surrounding it. That is where the tension comes from. Floyd has never liked the idea of someone being measured against him because he prefers to remain the standard no one else can duplicate.
Today, I'll let you know, there's no fighter that will ever be better than me. There's no fighter that wasn't better than me before me or after me or when I'm long gone. I'm the best.
But Crawford isn't copying Floyd. He's creating his own path and rewriting the rules of the game.
Where does he rank now, all time, ending this interview?
Number 1, and the only one that he got at top is Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford is this generation guy. You know what I'm saying? Accomplishing all the goals that he accomplished.
Matched up? How do they match up, Floyd and Terence?
Hey, I'm like this, man. It's going to be great because Floyd, he's about his work. He put in work. We've been watching it for decades. You know what I'm saying? Him coming out of retirement to do this fight, that's a win for the whole world boxing. Every generation from Floyd generation to this generation to get to see it come. That's just like we never get to see Michael Jordan play, right? But we remember when he used to play. Come on. So
now here's why this discussion sparks so much debate. Floyd Mayweather was nearly untouchable in his era. He rarely lost rounds and never lost a fight. His defense made the hardest hitters look inexperienced. Crawford is completely different. He welcomes the chaos and then takes control. He doesn't focus on just outscoring opponents. He works to dismantle them completely.
In the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
When Crawford faced Errol Spence, fans were bracing for an all-out battle. What they saw instead was a precise display of controlled power. He broke Spence down methodically, scored 3 knockdowns, and ended the fight with surgical precision.
I didn't expect that the fight will be like that, but I thought it will finish 12 rounds. But Crawford he did a good job.
Is Crawford number one? Time for pound number one?
I think so. Pretty much, I don't think...
Did you feel like they need a rematch, Manny, after what you saw tonight?
I don't know if there's a rematch.
That's what we gotta go.
It's kind of a one-sided fight.
Does this fight make Terence Crawford an all-time great in your eyes?
Well, he's still in his career, so he's prime in his career, so we'll see the journey of his life.
That type of dominant performance is something Floyd never showed consistently against elite opponents. Yes, he outboxed Canelo, but that was a younger version who hadn't reached his peak yet. Crawford beat Canelo while moving up 2 weight classes. That's why many current boxing experts are openly saying it. Terence Crawford could be better than Floyd Mayweather at his best. Even legends are weighing in. Roy Jones Jr. noted that while Floyd may have been more polished skill for skill, Crawford demonstrates a level of complete dominance we haven't seen before.
Because when you mention great fighters, right? 90% of the great fighters are black. The ones from the past. Now, with the Eastern Bloc coming on like they are, there's going to be some great ones coming on now. Even with Lil Tony, as you see it, these guys are going to be great. They're going to start eclipsing and coming up there too. But right now, if you had to name 5 of the best fighters of all time, 4 of them are going to be black. You understand me? Who did he beat that was black in his prime, that was in their prime, that was on his level? No.
And Max Kellerman summed it up perfectly. Floyd's goal was always control. Crawford's goal is glory. That's the key distinction.
It's wild because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Yes. That makes a difference to people.
Crawford did amazing. He a legend, man. 3-time undisputed. You got to take his hat up to him. He went up 2 weight classes and dominated a legend, so my hat goes up to him and he's all respect.
Do you think Canelo is the same guy that he was before? You think he's completely falling off?
Canelo's Canelo, you know what I mean? Canelo's a legend, bro. You gotta, at the end of the day, whatever happened that fight, that don't diminish his career, his image. You feel me? I think right now, he's at that time where he took an L, but he ain't take an L, you know what I'm saying? He got paid and he a legend at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So if he want to walk over in the sunset right now, his name, his last name is in a cement. You know what I'm saying? As one of the greatest Mexican fighters in the world.
I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but Crawford does have all the titles. You're a really big name. He's kind of in your way right now a little bit. Is that a fight where you're just like, yeah, me and him get it on for sure?
Not for sure. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? We don't duck no smoke. But, you know, right now, you know, I'm focused on my comeback fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, I gotta put my head down. You know, whatever happened in my last fight is cool. But you know, that ain't dim my light at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a superstar. I'm still a star. I'm still the king of New York, man. You know, I'm fly. I look good. I fight good, man. So you know, I'm just.
Meanwhile, Floyd has stayed on the defensive. He keeps highlighting his 50-0 record, the money, the pay-per-view numbers, and his business empire. Crawford isn't focused on stats. He's focused on building a lasting legacy. That's why this feels like a torch passing, even if Floyd won't admit it. Mayweather's time was about flawless execution. Crawford's era is about pushing the sport forward. Floyd avoided losses by avoiding unnecessary risks. Crawford might suffer a defeat someday, but only because he dared to risk it all.
And I beat him, but we both been out there, they say he's over the hill. But then when Pacquiao fights him, they say, oh, this is the greatest thing we ever seen. So then when I fight Hatton, they say I'm too big for Hatton, but then they say no, nobody said that. You got full credit for both of those wins, Floyd. That's why you became a superstar. No, I did not. Yes, no, you I did. Did not. No, sure I did not. You did. From me, I gave you full credit. If you're talking to me now, I gave you full credit for that. Am I going to speak my piece or not? Am I going to speak my piece or not? Go ahead. Okay, because you want to interview me. I ain't interviewing you. You want to talk to me. I don't worry about talking. Floyd, you want to talk go ahead. To me. I'm waiting on you. So then, when I fight Hatton, they said, oh, Mayweather is too big for Hatton. But then, Marquez and Pacquiao can fight, it's no problem. But now, but I'm too big for Marquez. I'm too big for Marquez, but I'm not too big for Pacquiao. Which one is it? Well, which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? It's that Pacquiao was 130 pounds, and he keeps moving out and whacking guys who are much bigger. He gets full credit.
That's the difference between being an icon and becoming a legend. Floyd knows it, which is why he's back in interviews talking about the new generation chasing headlines. He reminds everyone of his billions and business savvy, because when the topic shifts to true greatness, he doesn't like the direction it's heading. You can't fight time, and you can't fight the future. So what comes next? Word is Floyd may sit down for his own interview to set the record straight, likely highlighting his undefeated record and record-breaking earnings. But that won't slow Crawford down. Fans are already shifting the narrative. To them, Crawford isn't chasing Mayweather anymore. He's taking over. The face of modern boxing has moved from Floyd's confident smirk under bright lights to Crawford's focused stare beneath championship belts. The wildest part is Floyd helped create this path. By setting the standard for so long, he gave Crawford a blueprint to surpass it. Respect is still due. Floyd changed the sport, built an empire, beat every top fighter of his time, and earned more than anyone before him. But Terence Crawford is redefining greatness. He's not just undefeated. He's undisputed across 3 divisions. He's not fighting for fame. He's fighting for legacy. So when Floyd says there are levels, he might be right. But maybe the levels have shifted. What was once the peak of greatness is now simply Crawford's starting point.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ and that shit.
The funny thing about it is Terence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out. Yeah. You know?
That's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
got to pioneer, right? Yeah, you got to.
There's an OG you can't outfigure out somewhere. And I just believe Floyd is that OG you can't outfigure.
Now the world is watching closely. Crawford has mentioned he has a few fights left before calling it a career. It could be Jaron Boots Ennis next, a rematch with Canelo, or even a move up to 160 pounds for one last championship.
As his trainer, do you feel like you should just sell off into the sunset after this monumental
well,
win?
You know what? He made it look so easy. You know what I'm saying? Got 2-3 more in him. You know what I'm saying? Train camp will try harder. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think a move to 160 would make sense?
I mean, if you want to do it, you know, it'd be a challenge. If you want to challenge yourself, yeah, I don't mind.
Every step Crawford takes now only strengthens his argument. This isn't just a discussion anymore. It's a shift of power. The former king of an era versus the new ruler. One defended his legacy. The other created his through challenge and risk. One fought to retire wealthy. The other fights to be remembered forever.
The fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. You go. Greatest all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists, you know, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.